Directions. Read the passage below and answer the questions that follow. From Ode to the Cat by Pablo Neruda. There was something wrong with the animals. Their tails were too long, and they had unfortunate heads. Then they started coming together, little by little, fitting together to make a landscape, developing birthmarks, grace, pep. But the cat, only the cat, turned out and finished, and proud, born in a state of total completion, it sticks to itself and knows exactly what it wants. Men would like to be fish or fowl, snakes would rather have wings, and dogs are would-be lions. Engineers want to be poets, flies emulate swallows, and poets try hard to act like flies. But the cat wants nothing more than to be a cat, and every cat is pure cat, from its whiskers to its tail, from sixth sense to squirming rat, from nighttime to its golden eyes. Nothing hangs together quite like a cat. Neither flowers nor the moon have such consistency. It's a thing by itself, like the sun or a topaz, and the elastic curve of its back, which is both subtle and confident, is like the curve of a sailing ship's prow. The cat's yellow eyes are the only slot for depositing the coins of the night. Answer the following questions relating to the passage titled From Ode to the Cat. Number 1. Select the line in the first stanza that contains a metaphor. A. There was something wrong. B. With the animals. C. Their tails were too long and they had. D. Unfortunate heads. E. Then they started coming together. F. Little by little. G. Fitting together to make a landscape. H. Developing birthmarks, grace, pep. I. But the cat. J. Only the cat. K. Turned out finished. L. And proud. M. Born in a state of total completion. N. It sticks to itself and knows exactly what it wants. Pause the recording while you answer this question. Number 2. Select the lines in the first stanza that contains personification. There are 2 correct answers. A. There was something wrong. B. With the animals. C. Their tails were too long, and they had. D. Unfortunate head. E. Then they started coming together. F. Little by little. G. Fitting together to make a landscape. H. Developing birthmarks, grace, pep. I. But the cat. J. Only the cat. K. Turned out finished. L. And proud. M. Born in a state of total completion. N. It sticks to itself and knows exactly what it wants. Pause the recording while you answer this question. Question number 3. Select the line in the second stanza that contains a simile. A. Men would like to be fish or fowl. B. Snakes would rather have wings. C. And dogs are would-be lions. D. Engineers want to be poets. E. Flies emulate, copy, or imitate swallows. F. And poets try hard to act like flies. G. But the cat. H. Wants nothing more than to be a cat. I. And every cat is pure cat. J. From its whiskers to its tail. K. From sixth sense to squirming rat. L. From nighttime to its golden eyes. Pause the recording while you answer this question. Question number 4. Which of the following literary elements does the author Pablo Neruda most rely or depend on in stanza 3, lines 27 through 40? A stanza is a group of lines or a section of a poem. A. Onomatopoeia. B. Symbol. C. Imagery. Or D. Hyperbole. Pause the recording to answer this question. Directions. Read the passage below and answer the questions that follow. Oranges by Gary Soto. The first time I walked with a girl, I was 12, cold, and weighted down with 2 oranges in my jacket. December. Frost cracking beneath my steps, my breath before me, then gone, as I walked towards her house, the one whose porch light burned yellow, night and day, in any weather. A dog barked at me, until she came pulling at her gloves, face bright with rouge. I smiled, touched her shoulder, and led her down the street, across a used car lot and a line of newly planted trees, until we were breathing before a drugstore. We entered, the tiny bell bringing a saleslady down a narrow aisle of goods. I turned to the candles, tiered like bleachers, and asked what she wanted. Light in her eyes, a smile, starting at the corners of her mouth. I fingered a nickel in my pocket, and when she lifted a chocolate that cost a dime, I didn't say anything. I took the nickel from my pocket, then an orange, and set them quietly on the counter. When I looked up, the lady's eyes met mine, and I held them, knowing very well what it was all about. Outside, a few cars hissing past, fog hanging like old coats between the trees. I took my girl's hand in mine for 2 blocks, then released it to let her unwrap the chocolate. I peeled my orange, that was so bright against the gray of December that from some distance someone might have thought I was making a fire in my hands. Question number 5. Select the lines from the second stanza of the poem that contain onomatopoeia. A. Outside. B. A few cars hissing past. C. Fog hanging like old. D. Coats between the trees. E. I took my girl's hand. F. In mine for 2 blocks. G. Then released it to let. H. Her unwrap the chocolate. I peeled my orange. J. That was so bright against. K. The gray of December. L. That from some distance. M. Someone might have thought. N. I was making a fire in my hands. Pause the recording while you answer this question. Question number 6. Which of the following words best describes the mood of the poem Oranges by Gary Soto? A. Excited. B. Fearful. C. Humorous or funny. D. Negative. Pause the recording while you answer this question. Question number 7. Select the line from the first stanza of Gary Soto's Oranges that contains an example of hyperbole. A. The first time I walked. B. With a girl, I was 12. C. Cold and weighted down. D. With 2 oranges in my jacket. E. December. Frost cracking. F. Beneath my steps, my breath. G. Before me, then gone. H. As I walked toward. I. Her house, the one whose. J. Porch light burned yellow. K. Night and day in any weather. L. A dog barked at me until. M. She came out pulling. N. At her gloves, face bright. O. With rouge. Pause the recording while you answer this question. Question number 8. In the second stanza of Oranges, Gary Soto says, I peeled my orange that was so bright against the gray of December that from some distance someone might have thought I was making a fire in my hands. Which of the following statements best describes the literary device that Gary Soto uses in the last line of the second stanza? A. The orange is a metaphor for the December weather because it's so bright and sunny outside. B. The fire the narrator or person who's telling the story imagines people may have seen is the narrator. B. The fire the narrator imagines people may have seen the narrator making in his hands is a symbol for the narrator's feelings for the girl in the poem. C. Peeling the orange shows the narrator's mood because he's beginning a new relationship. Or D. The gray of December is a simile for the narrator's feelings because his first date did not go well. Pause the recording while you answer this question.